For this video, going on to 3 different videos, right? But it is the introduction, and so I think it's important to set the groundwork, to set the foundation, so therefore we can have a lot of common assumptions about what it is that we're actually doing here. The difference between what I'm doing, yeah, it's sort of a long lecture, but it's interesting, and I'm keeping you captivated enough to get to the 3rd fucking video. Unlike Julie Chancellor at Valley High School in Jefferson County in Louisville, right? She's a dictator. She's a Nazi. Do as I say or else I'll fuck up your life. How can you allow, you're allowing your children to be fucked up, and then they set the example for what the parents are allowed to do, right? The state has the fucking cops beating everybody up. The teachers are the dictators telling the masses to shut the fuck up, and then then the parents are doing the same. So I mean, seriously, at what point are you empowering the children? At what point are you actually making them strong? Are you liberating? You're not liberating them. You're oppressing them, and you're enslaving them, and you're manipulating them. And as long as you manipulate, you're about manipulating other people. Those other people are going to be manipulated for the rest of their lives. They're children, and they trust the authority figures. So, American education system is completely fucked. It's completely wrong. There's fascists and there's revolutionaries. If you're not a revolutionary, then you're a fascist. And fascists are the ones that want to enslave you. So if you ain't revolutionary, man or woman, you just want to enslave me. That's all you care about. You pose. You're angry all the time. Oh, I want to be serious. Take me serious. So I can enslave you. So I can tell you who the fuck you are and tell you what to do. Nah, I'm not all about that. I'm revolutionary. I believe in equality. I believe in freedom. I believe in building culture. Okay? So you're with me. I'm not saying do this, do this, do that. And no one's saying do this, do this, do that. It's equality, right? What does equality look like? But most of y'all don't have any clue. So, fascists and revolutionaries, those are the 2 groups. Oppressors and the oppressed. The slaves and the Nazis, right? So we're doing it all wrong. We're using this outdated and archaic 1806 Prussian authoritarian fascist Nazi autocratic industrial model for education, right? Authoritarian, it's do as I say. There's definitely a hierarchy. There's a the board of directors, and then the school board, and then there's a superintendent, then there's the education board from the state, and then the parents and the staff and the students. So you have lots of interest. You have lots of people that's interested in it. Not shareholders, but stakeholders. There's a lot of stakeholders in American education. So we're doing it all wrong. All we give a fuck about, the only lesson that American education teaches is compliance, submission, and obedience. And that's it. And unfortunately, compliance, submission, and obedience, the worst crimes throughout all of U.S. history, or all history, world history, war, genocide, slavery, was done because of submission, compliance, and obedience. War, slavery, genocide. That's why we have these things happening, because of strict obedience. American schools are teaching strict obedience. That's why you got nobody questioning jack shit around here. Do as you're told. Fascists tell you what to do. Get in line. Okay? And you can only hope to maybe be a fascist one day yourself. You can't be revolutionary. You can't be free. So that's what we got right now, is this outdated, archaic 1806 Prussian authoritarian fascist Nazi. The Prussians were the pre-Nazis, right? Autocratic industrial model. So we're trying to create basically little automatons, or little like sort of clogs into the machine, right? So we want to make our students obedient, compliant, submissive, because they gotta listen to a boss, right? That's what people say. Well, you're gonna have to listen to a boss one day. Why? Why can't you start your own business? Why can't you do, your own thing? In fact, anybody that's ever done anything of value or relevant did something on their own. And so, they will sit there, obedience and compliance, the only fucking thing they care about, and they'll say, one day you get to work for a boss, right? So that's the industrial model. We're going to make you obedient, compliant, submissive slaves, intellectual slaves. So therefore, when we give you to a boss, you'll do everything that boss says. You'll be the best slave that boss has ever seen, right? It'll be a great day for a boss, right? So that's why the American education system is teaching the American students to be a bunch of sit down and shut up, immoral, unethical, so-called intellectual slaves. Because obedience and morality are the exact opposites. When you do as you're told, you didn't give a fuck if that order was good or bad. The teacher says sit down and shut up. You just do it because you're getting told and you don't want to get injured. You want to do what's right, whatever fucking reason you do it for. But you didn't think about the morals of the situation. You didn't think about the morality. Sit down right now. Well, if I comply with you, does that mean that I'm accepting that my slave state, and I'm showing all my fellow friends that since I'm a slave, they should be slaves too? And then the thing about the hierarchy is, you know, the teachers, I can always speak up when it comes to the teachers. They understand that sort of, you know, there's people that speak up and there's people that don't speak up. There's wallflowers and there isn't. So I think a lot of times they like when I speak up. And even if I disagree with them here and there. But the people I cannot stand are these fucking kiss-ass motherfuckers who, when it comes to the massa, they agree with everything the massa says and does. They get value from any stupid little petty fucking dumb fucking shit thing that they do. But when you're sitting right next to them, they'll shit all over your ideas if they're the fucking, you know, the most questioning fucking scientific person on the face of the planet. And, you know, really, when it comes to relationships, people will disagree or agree with you, you know, sort of if they like you or not. And it's not about agreeing with you. It can be agreeable. You can disagree in an agreeable manner. But sometimes, you know, people are just like, oh, you think that? Well, fuck you. I'm going to fuck up your life. Nah, that's some bullshit. Okay, so these are all the general ideas, and I'm getting to the specific ideas. So there are specific ideas, and maybe you want to go straight to the very end if you don't want to hear all this. But I'm going to keep on going. So there's fascists and there's revolutionaries. There's the fucking people. A fascist is do as I say or there'll be violence, right? And there's the teachers can't hit the students. They would love to. They used to smack them with rulers and shit, right? There used to be corporal punishment. They come from the corporal punishment tradition. It's a Prussian system. And but they can't hit you, so they gotta think of something, some other thing to do to you, right? So do as the fuck as I say, or else I'll send you the ISAP. I'll lower your grade. I'll get you suspended. I'll embarrass you in front of everybody, right? In fact, just think about some of our vernacular, our sort of just our common vernacular, just with, you know, our everyday use. And when people talk about school, like, ooh, son, you just got schooled, son. Son, you just got schooled. Even lectures is like, I'm going to lecture at you. I'm going to tell you what's going on. So it's like, it's demeaning because school is demeaning. That's why when someone says, you got schooled, son, usually it's about them giving you a piece of information that you didn't know, but it's usually in a dominating manner, right? It's like, ooh, I just conquered you. Ooh, you know, the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776. I just schooled you, son. I just schooled you. What the fuck is that shit? Well, that's what they're talking about. That's demeaning. Do as the fuck as the bosses say. You'll get schooled. That's what being schooled's all about. So lots of problems in the American education system. Let's just go down a little list here. College students aren't learning critical thinking, right? So they're going to college. They're supposed to be smarter, have this degree and shit. Says that they're somebody. Nah. We're over-diagnosing too many fucking disorders. We're making up disorders, right? ADHD. Well, who the fuck can sit in a fucking seat while you're being insulted constantly by some asshole, some talentless, unethical, immoral asshole? How can you do that? How can you just sit there and accept a lecture of which you're only memorizing 5%, right? You're only memorizing, retaining 5% of that lecture, and we're supposed to just sit still? We're supposed to just sit still and be able to accept it? Nah, that's bullshit. If I feel like someone's controlling me, I can't sit still. Who the fuck can? Right? I'm supposed to respect you, but at the same time, I don't like how you're disrespecting me. So what am I supposed to do? I'm a grown-ass man here, and they're fucking doing this shit to grown-ass men. You don't think they're doing it to the boys? I guarantee you they're doing it to the boys. So we're over-diagnosing ADHD. They can't sit still, so we pump them with Prozac, other drugs, so that they're just fucking lethargic, just drooling on themselves and shit. Oh, I don't care about nothing, right? And then with you know, with the boys, with the 99% of the education system is white women, and white women, you know, why are we like picking on our little boys, and why are we picking on, you know, there's it's a generalization, right? But most of them are privileged. A lot of white women are privileged, right? And so how can they, you know, poor whites, poor blacks, or Hawaiian Hispanics? I mean, that's a pretty monolithic group of people in education system. 90-something% white women. And so when it comes to diagnosing little boys, ADHD, oh, he's running around, I can't get him to sit still, he just won't do as he's told. It's unnatural. That's why he can't do it. It's unnatural. You're trying to get him to do some unnatural shit. And this goes to Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He says that every human being is born good, but it's the civilization and the society which corrupts him. Think about the implications of that. You're a good person, then when you get to school being do this, do that, then all of a sudden it breaks up, you know, the goodness that was actually in you. So we're over-diagnosing ADHD, and in fact, a disorder. Now they got non-conformity and free thinking is a disorder, okay? So if you're a nonconformist, and this is America, this is the land of the free, home of the brave. We say our Pledge of Allegiance every fucking day for peace, justice, liberty for all, right? No, not liberty for us, not liberty for anybody. We just say those words, and we don't actually mean anything about it. It's just a bunch of empty rhetoric, right? We just like to say good things about ourselves. Oh yeah, we're a free country. Anyways, teachers telling me what to do, I gotta go now, right? So, nonconformity is a disorder? Nah, nonconformity is not a disorder. In fact, I would even want to quote Tesla. Tesla defends antisocial behavior, which is worse than nonconformity, but he says that if the society itself is bad and is corrupt, then it's a sign of intelligence to be, not sociable. But this is nonconformity. So this is, oh my God, go back to fucking Hitler and shit. Conformity, going along with the crowd. Who the fuck says, like, who brags about this stuff? We're supposed to be this strong, individualistic country. We got all these individualistic values and shit. But we're telling our kids to conform. Do as everybody else is doing. They're complying, you need to comply, right? Everybody's got to be a bunch of slaves to the oppressors. Lots of fascists in America, very few revolutionaries, especially in our school systems. So, nonconformity, free thinking, to think freely. That's a disorder in America, to think freely. How the fuck is free thinking a disorder? Free thinking? Kristen Harris out of Spalding University, she says, she wrote me up for this thing where she says, oh yeah, and he was talking about freedom. He was talking about freedom in that meeting. How's that a thing? Spalding University, how's that a thing? You know what I mean? How's that something? To sit there and say he was talking about freedom. You can't talk about freedom? In America, you can't even mention the word freedom. And I think that's what we're actually seeing. Paulo Freire says that people are afraid of freedom, and that's why we're seeing all the fascists around here they're slaves, but we're not seeing the revolutionaries. We're not seeing the revolutionaries come up. So, free thinking, nonconformity, they're diagnosed as disorders, right? And we're supposed to pretend ADHD is a disorder too. We're drugging our kids. It's all bullshit. You're drugging the kids to force them in some unnatural situation so that society can brainwash them and make them conformists, take away their morality, take away their soul, take away their ethics, take away their critical thinking skills. Shut the fuck up, sit down, do as you're told. That's America. That's what American education system is teaching us. So, what's Louisville's solution to all this? Okay, there's one of the biggest budgets like all across the country. A lot of it in busing, right? Everybody's talking about all the busing and all the miles it takes and gas and all the shit for busing. But the solution, okay, so Louisville's been trying to take some of the schools and do some things with them, different things with them, trying to be innovative and trying to be creative and shit. And so we got fascism, which is just, from the very bottom, kindergarten, probably even in Jump Start, right? The pre-kindergarten program. They're probably being fascist there all the way up to college and to the graduate schools. So fascism everywhere we're going. And Louisville's solution is to create more fascism, okay? So Myers Middle School, they're changing like 4 schools, and the Myers Middle School is now a cadet academy. It's a cadet academy, so basically, before ROTC, you got junior ROTC, then you got a cadet academy. So we're teaching you how to be militarized, fucking obedient automatons, just soulless, unethical, robots. Because Paul Freire says you take away someone's freedom when you're the oppressor, and the only way for the oppressor to love you is if you do what the oppressor says. Well, they're taking away your freedom, and freedom is human. So if you take away your freedom, you take away my humanness, and you're going to tell me you love me? No, you don't love me if you're taking away my humanness. If you're taking away my freedom, you don't love me. You love me when I'm allowed to show my freedom and then express myself. And you accept me by the way I express myself and show myself. So if if you must tell other people what to do, and that's the only way you can give a shit about them, that's a sadistic love. It's a love of death, not of life. Those people eventually, their end goal is to kill you. It's a necrophilic view of life. So 1423. It's gonna go 4 videos. Okay, I got 4 videos. But I know a lot of stuff of what's going on here. So there's 2 main competing schools of thought about the state of nature. And I can't even believe it's almost like capitalism and communism, right? It's almost like, capitalism won, let's not even consider communism. Let's not even think about it. Not even think about it, not even consider it. This is America, okay? This is America. The United States flag symbolizes freedom and democracy. We don't have any freedom and democracy here. It's a bunch of fucking rhetorical principles which we pretended to give a shit about but never given a fuck about ever, right? Not even when we were stealing land in the Revolutionary War, we didn't give a shit about it. There's two schools of thoughts when it comes down to what our human nature is. There's Thomas Hobbes's Leviathan, where everybody's just going to kill everybody if nobody's governing. And then there's Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who says everybody's good and it's society who corrupts them. And America has totally gone with Hobbes and totally skipped over Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And I think that's a mistake.